The last time we spoke, Mikayla, you had just completed your first Nevis Range Elite downhill championship.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be throwing yourself off a mountain at that sort of speed?
Yeah, good. Yeah, the national is amazing. It was quite windy, which made the track a wee bit different, but then again, it's windy for everybody. And I loved it. I had a really good run. Yeah.
Excellent. And I believe you made it to the podium.
I did. Yeah.
Excellent.
I got on to 5th. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I unfortunately did catch someone in my race run, but these things happen, and I didn't want to.
So what does catch someone mean?
So like I was in my race run and I caught up with a girl ahead of me. Just could have been due to anything. Like she might have had a crash or something, and which means that obviously I had to slow down in my run. So I could have gone for a rerun, but because I was on the podium, I just didn't want to take the risk. So
I suppose the chances the track's drying out because it's quite a windy day.
Anything could happen, like punctures or anything. Yeah. I was like, nope, I'm just going to take it because I really wanted to be on the podium. Yeah.
But that's your first elite run. So I believe last year when you were here as a senior, you actually won the race.
Yeah.
Excellent. And that's your only just started in this mountain bike and throwing yourself down mountains thing.
Yeah, not throwing myself mountains the whole time, my whole life. I only started around 4 years ago when I left high school. Well, I was just getting into it as I was leaving high school, what kind of encouraged me to stay in Fort William instead of go study in maybe one of the bigger cities near here like Glasgow or Edinburgh. I did consider that, but I really got into mountain biking quickly. And I didn't want to leave the area because I was just getting into it, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And I mean, I didn't think when I started I'd be racing. I definitely didn't think I'd be doing World Cups. I've always come to the World Cup as a child when I was growing up here, but I never really appreciated it for what it is. Like I would just go to watch it. I didn't actually know what downhill was. So it's quite surreal to now be racing it. It's just a bit mental, yeah.
I suppose as a spectator, you just see the little bit you're watching. You don't see the whole of the track.
Well, the preparation for it as well, and the nerves, and it just feels a bit crazy to be racing and like with people like Rich Lappin and just like crazy to be racing with them. Yeah.
So obviously in Fort William there's a couple of big cyclists come to this area.
Yeah.
Has that been a bit of an encouragement for you, knowing that this area seems to be something in the water?
Completely. There's so many amazing local riders here, especially ones that have given me a lot of help recently as well, if it comes to things like fitness. And I mean, I don't have a trainer or like a personal trainer kind of thing because I just can't afford it. And that's something I would love eventually, but they've really helped me recently, and I've kind of been badgering them with questions of training, and I've gotten a lot of help recently from quite a lot of them, and it's just nice to speak to them, and they're always there for advice, and we've got so many amazing local riders here.
So that would take us out to the next part. As part of your preparation, obviously food and nutrition is an important part. How do you prepare coming up to the races for that? Because obviously what you eat during the week and non-race days when you're training will be different for the actual race days, so how does that change?
Yeah, I mean, definitely coming into a race weekend, I probably eat a bit more, and I don't know if that's due to the fact I want to keep my energy up or I'm just nervous, but definitely think about what I eat, not even just coming into a race, just all year round. I think it's really important. I mean, some people kind of have the view of, oh, it's just fuel, so you're just going to burn it, but I think that you need to be using the best fuel for like when you're riding, and obviously I don't eat well all the time, like I do have treats, but majority of the time I do try and eat a well-balanced diet, and I really love the Sogud bars. Like they're full of good things, and they're quite simple as well. Like you could probably list on your hand how many ingredients they have in them. So yeah, I really like them.
Yeah, as a manufacturer and provider, we deliberately kept it to a small range of ingredients, but we were looking for the most energy-dense, nutrient-dense product we could get. But for me, the thing with the Sogud bars, not to take away from the conversation for the downhill, but it's really the taste.
Yeah.
When you first tried them, what do you think of the taste of the products?
Oh, I love them. Yeah, I think they're really great, and I think they taste exactly what the flavours are, and they're not overly sweet either, so you can tell they're not full of sugar, because sometimes flapjack is just like, you think it's a healthy option and all of a sudden it's just full of sugar, but these aren't, and yeah, they taste great, and especially love the chocolate one.
Thank you very much. So next week, no, a fortnight, you're doing the World Championships here, is that right?
Yeah.
So where do you think how you prepared for that? Where do you think you're going to come?
Oh, I have no idea on where I'll place, but as long as I'm happy with my run and I've had a good time, I'll be happy. Yeah. I really don't have an idea where I'll place, just purely because I've only ever done one World Cup and that one didn't go that great. I mean, I still had a great time, but I did crash, and yeah, I'm not going to put any pressure on myself because it is quite a tight field that qualify, and there's not many that get through, and so I'm not going to kind of get too excited for something that could potentially not happen. So if I'm going to ride my best, and if my best is enough, that would be great, and if it isn't, then if anything, it's just going to motivate me to try harder.
So, with coming on the podium at the last downhill, I don't know nothing about the mountain biking scene. Do you guys get seeded in some sort of way, or is it just on your time when you're coming downhill on your time trials?
So at the British, usually we have a seeding run, which will kind of seed you for the race, obviously. So it'll be like slowest to fastest for the race. But the last race we did, just due to a few, there was quite a lot of injuries, so we didn't have seeding, which is totally fair. I mean, it's a long track. That was probably due to people catching people up, but like no complaints here. Like people were injured and they can only do what they can do, and I think that the SDA and all the British kind of association did what they could, and they did great. But usually we would have a seeding and a race run, and then World Cup is slightly different. They've got we have practice on the Friday, and then we qualify on Saturday, and if you qualify you race on Sunday, but if you don't qualify then you won't race. But at British everyone races.
Excellent. And then after that you're in Austria, is it?
I'm heading up to Leogang, yeah.
Yeah, so how do you think that one's going to feel? How are you going to do that?
I'm so excited just to go ride a new track. Like, I've not really ridden my downhill bike in many tracks outside of the UK, so I just really can't wait. I've been watching videos of it, but obviously videos don't do anything justice. They make everything look much easier than it is.
Yeah.
I've been speaking to people about it, but I'm just so excited. I can't wait. Like, regardless of what happens, I'm just really grateful to get to go. I still can't believe I'm getting to go, so...
Well, thank you very much for that. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time when we come back up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mikayla.